I'd like to acknowledge that we're on the traditional territory of the Coast Salish peoples in spectacular Squamish. It is really exciting tonight to be taking our first step towards choosing the candidate who will be able to reach out to every corner of this riding, who will engage the voting public, who will attract people who may otherwise vote for our competitors. We have got to succeed in this because freedom of speech, transparency in government, public policy based on evidence, not ideology, non-judgmental social policy, and building relationships in the international arena are the basis of Canadian democratic society, and we are on shaky ground. I am Pam Goldsmith Jones, and I'm asking for your support. I'm a passionate listener and skilled at connecting people and speaking up in a way that respects our combined commitment to our environment and our economy and our respect for one another. I have a total of 12 years of experience in public life, 6 as the mayor of West Van, and I'd like to share a few stories about my track record for achieving lasting change in our community. When I was a councillor in West Vancouver 10 years ago, we opposed the destruction of Eagle Ridge Bluffs by the provincial government. The environmental assessment process was a poor excuse for public input, and so I agreed to pose in a nude calendar behind a very, very large tree to draw attention to the situation. When I ran for months a few months later, I realized in retrospect that may not have been the best strategy for running for mayor, but I took a risk. We lost the battle for Eagle Ridge Bluffs, but we sued the government and won twice as much money as they were prepared to give local government. And last week, West Van Council dedicated White Lake Park, a park twice the size of Lighthouse Park, right next to Eagle Ridge Bluffs. Standing up for nature in our own community took 10 years of concerted effort in our own backyard and a major risk on my part at the beginning, and we never gave up. Before the end of my term as mayor, West Vancouver won a United Nations Global Green City Award for our climate change strategies. When we stood on the podium at the UN conference, we chose to speak entirely about citizen engagement. Political leadership provided the platform for citizens with passion, expertise, and imagination to create and drive our strategy. The voices of citizens are far more powerful than that of one elected person. This is what is called for at a time when people are cynical about politics and politicians, and I am not cynical. Fiscally, I ran a conservative municipal government. We did not raise taxes at all, twice, but usually we raised taxes within the rate of inflation. Every budget was balanced, of course. My family have lived in West Van for 100 years. My husband and I have been married for 30 years. We recreate and fish in our boat in these waters. We have 3 grown children, but when they were 2, 3, and 5, I served for a term on council in North Vancouver. We could afford 2 hours of drop-off daycare a week and evening babysitters so that I could do that. For 3 years, I worked evenings and weekends and raised young children. For that, I was paid $12,000 a year after tax. And I know for those of you who volunteer in the community, that's quite a lot of money because most people do it for free. Both are what our society is based on. When our son was 9, he didn't want to go to school anymore, like a lot of 9-year-old boys, I think. So I kept him home for 6 weeks, and that turned into 6 years of homeschooling our 3 children. We divided our time between here and a little cabin with cold running water and a wood stove so they could grow up in nature. Then they all went to public school and they've all graduated from public universities. I'm telling you this because I fit public service into our life as a family and into the priorities of our community. When I left public life 2 years ago, I founded my own consulting company. It's been successful. And I've participated in the Executive MBA program at SFU in Aboriginal business and leadership. Me and 24 Aboriginal people. I am completing my final paper on recreation in Howe Sound for a company owned by 2 Sechelt First Nation women. I chose this program because I cannot be the kind of citizen I want to be, neglecting my understanding of First Nations. Our country cannot expect success in business, in environmental conservation, or in being a guiding light for human rights by neglecting this either. And this is not easy. We will win the next election because we're not afraid, because we have everything to contribute, and we have a lot to be grateful for. We have to start now. I have a long list of the things that Stephen Harper has done wrong, but I would like to work with you to create and lead our plan from the ground up so we can change course. I ask for your support. Pam Goldsmith Jones. Thank you so much.